Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of the Rapid Reviews series. And in today's episode I'm gonna walk you through some of the new makeup items that I've purchased and that I have been testing. We're gonna talk about Givenchy mascara, the Hermès Fall collection, the Too Faced Appley in Love eyeshadow palette, the YSL Holiday collection, and last but not least the Westman Atelier concealer, the new concealer. Before I'm gonna get started, I have to mention that there is some construction work going on outside in the street right in front of my house. So if you hear some background noise, you know why. If it gets really bad, then maybe I have to stop recording and continue later today, but let's just see how it goes. So without any further ado, let's get started. And I want to start off with a new eyeshadow palette from Too Faced. It's the Appley in Love eyeshadow palette. I really like this one. Yeah, I can be very brief about it, but of course you want to know more. Yeah, let's have a closer look at the color story. Of course, we have the berry tones, the reds, some pinks. We have some more neutral tones like the browns and the caramel shades. And there's a variety in finishes. Of course, there are some matte shades in this palette. There are some shimmers, some metallics. We have some topper shades. So we have a little bit of everything in this palette and it's very, very versatile. Of course, if this color story doesn't speak to you, then you will not have a lot of fun with this palette. But if this is a color story that you like, if these are shades that you love, then I highly recommend getting this palette because it's really, really worth it. The mattes are extremely good. I didn't have any issues with applying or blending them. I was actually very surprised by the good quality of these matte shades. The mattes are richly pigmented. You do not need a lot of pigment on your brush to get a good application on your eyes, on your eyelids. They apply very, very easily. They blend without much effort. So yeah, really, really good mattes. I was pleasantly surprised by them. Some of the metallics and shimmers are a little bit stiffer. Not that they are pressed too hard or something like that. It's just that it takes a little bit more effort to evenly apply them. And that doesn't apply to all shades in this palette. I've had this with the red shade, the Appley in Love shade, and also the two pinky shades. These shades are not as smooth as I expected them to be, so it just took me some more effort and time to get a good application with these. I didn't have the same experience with all the other metallics or shimmer shades in this palette. So the greens, they applied very nicely without much effort, and same goes for the lighter shades like the Crunch Time, the golden shade, the Sparkling Cider, the Smitten, the Topper shade. Those shades, they applied effortlessly. Didn't have any issues with them. Like I said in the beginning, you can create a variety of looks with this palette. A more green look, a more red look, berry, pink. You can also choose to do a caramel, golden, brownish, beige kind of look. A lot of options with this palette, and that's what I really, really appreciate. This was actually my very first Too Faced eyeshadow palette, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I am pleasantly surprised by this palette. I'm also wearing the palette on my eyes today. This eye look is created with the Appley in Love palette. And I am very, very happy that I purchased this one. I like the color story, I like the application, even though some of these shades aren't that smooth. But all the looks that I created, I'm very happy with them. I really like them. So this is definitely one of my favorite palettes for fall. Up next is the Hermès Fall Collection. I have picked up a lipstick. This is shade 73 Rouge Nappa, and of course the eyeshadow palette. And this is number 11, the Ombrès Minerales. And in this quad we have 4 shades. We have a terracotta brown, we have a mossy green, a dark marine blue shade, and a topper shade. I like this curation of shades because it's a little bit unexpected. Maybe at first glance when you see this you think it's a little bit off, like it doesn't really make sense, but these shades work wonderfully together. They pair very, very well. What I like to do personally, I like to pair that blue with that topper shade. I feel like the blue really makes my eyes pop, especially in combination with that light topper shade. You know, the green doesn't do that much for my eyes. It looks good, but it doesn't really make my eyes pop. So if I want that pop effect, then I rather use the blue in this palette. In terms of formula, especially the brown and the green shade are very, very smooth. The formula is a little bit more powdery, and the blue shade feels a little bit more thicker compared to the brown and the green, but application wise, no issues with these shades. So the terracotta and the blue, those are your matte shades. The green is described as a satin, but it's more of a very smooth matte with a little bit of a sparkle. It's not the kind of satin shade you usually see in palettes. I also really like the topper shade. It feels very smooth, almost just as smooth as a like metallic shade. Of course, it's not a metallic, it's a topper. But when you use this on top of a glitter glue or your Pat McGrath wand, you really get this beautiful intense effect. I really like that. So yeah, it's a palette that I really enjoy, but at the same time, this palette is very dupeable. You have these shades in your collection, especially when you have the Byredo Mineralscapes palette, you have these shades. And even if it's not Byredo, you have these in other palettes. I am pretty sure you can create the looks that I created with shades you have in your collection. So keep that in mind. You do not necessarily need this palette. It's beautiful, but it's pricey. Of course, you pay not only for this eyeshadow quad, you pay for the entire Hermès experience. Let me show you how you will receive this when you order on the Hermès website. It comes in this packaging and you open it and then you have that orange box. Mine is a little bit dirty now because I have used it a lot, obviously. And you open it like this, and then you have this little pouch, and in this pouch you have the eyeshadow palette. And the same thing goes for the lipstick. You will receive it in this orange box. You open it and then you have this little pouch with your lipstick. I have picked up shade Rouge Nappa. There are 3 new shades included in this fall collection. I really didn't know what shade to pick, so I asked my friend Ella from Ellagram Makeup. I will share her links down below. You have to follow her. She's fantastic. I asked Ella to pick a shade for me, and she picked shade Rouge Nappa. It's the shade that I'm wearing on my lips today. This is a sheer velvet formula. I really like this formula because it's not as matte as most velvet matte formulas. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, and therefore it also feels way more comfortable on the lips than most velvet formulas or matte formulas. So it's not completely velvet matte. It has a little bit of a sheen. Very, very pretty, comfortable to wear. I think if I had to choose between either the eyeshadow palette or the lipstick, I would pick the lipstick. I also want to share my thoughts about this new Westman Atelier concealer. I think you have to give this a try. I highly recommend this concealer. At first, when I used it for the very first time, I found the formula a little bit thick, and I thought, oh, this is not gonna work for me. This is too thick and too high coverage. But it blended so beautifully, like it almost like melts into my skin together with all the rest of the makeup. It has such a beautiful finish, very, very natural. I really like how this looks on my skin, how it does the job so well. You can apply these with your sponge, with your fingertips, with a brush. All those techniques work wonderfully with this formula. The coverage is good. It's not too much. It looks very, very natural on the skin. These aren't cheap, but I can justify the price for these because this is really a wonderful formula. And then we have the Givenchy mascara. It's called, I think it's called the Prisme Libre mascara. Oh, sorry. No, it's the L'Interdit mascara in shade 1 black. This is not going to be a favorite for me. No, not at all. I like how this separates my lashes. It gives volume, it gives length, but it smudges a bit. And that's a reason for me to declutter this mascara anytime soon, because every time I use it, I get these tiny black spots in the under eye area. So I have to constantly look in the mirror to see if the mascara is still okay, and that's not something I want with a mascara. I assume it's something you don't like either. You know, with a mascara, I have to rely on this product. You know, I don't want to have to worry about smudging. You know, so yeah, it basically means that I cannot rely on this mascara, and that's the reason that it has to go. Unfortunately, I had to stop filming for a while. With all the roadworks going on, it just became way too noisy. But here I am back with the last items I want to talk about. And that's the YSL collection for the holidays. I will do a long, extended, detailed video with all the holiday collections, the items for the holidays that I've purchased. I am still waiting for some items to arrive. So for now, I want to discuss these very briefly. First, the Love Shine lipstick in the shade Pink Desire. This is an existing shade. It's of course a pink. This is a cool toned pink. And now for the holidays, YSL has added glitters to these lipsticks to give you that extra sparkly holiday festive vibe. I think those of you who follow me for quite some time know how much I love the Love Shine lipstick formula. It's so buttery, it's so smooth, it feels very nourishing to the lips, like the lips are very moisturized. So this is a formula that I really like, and I use the Love Shine lipsticks like all the time. And of course we have to discuss the new quad as well, and this is number 209 Golden Lace. That name fits the theme of this palette perfectly. We have a 4-pan palette with a shimmery golden yellow topper shade, a golden yellow satin shade. That one is of course a little bit darker than the topper shade. We have a dark brown matte shade, and last but not least, it's the metallic shade, and that one is a light golden brownish shade. A little bit hard to describe the shade, but yeah. I really like this quad. It has a beautiful color story. I like to wear these shades on a daily basis, so it's not as festive as I expected it to be, but nonetheless it's very pretty. That's it for today. Thank you for watching my rapid reviews video part 2, and I will see you soon for part 3. Bye bye!